Today I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous hanging bird garland. Now of course you could hang these birds from just about anything, but today we are hanging them from a garland. You can get the free SVG file for this project on my website, craftyblogStalker.com. And let's go ahead and get started. For our hanging bird garland, these are the papers that I have chosen. They all kind of coordinate, yet they're all just a little bit different. And then the other supplies that we are going to need, the chipboard. This is the Cricut chipboard, the 2mm. I've got some Mod Podge and a foam brush, some fun ribbons, and some twine, of course some scissors. I also found this really fun greenery garland at my Hobby Lobby that I'm gonna hang it from. But keep in mind, you can hang these from anything. You can just hang it from the ribbon, you could hang it from a wood stick, from a curtain rod, really anything you want is just fine. And the last thing we need is our Cricut Maker. So let's go ahead and bring that in. You can get the file for the hanging bird garland on my website, craftyblogStalker.com, and I've already got the SVG uploaded into Cricut Design Space. And for one bird, you will actually see 3 groupings of birds. The white one is for the chipboard, and then the blue one is for the pattern scrapbook paper pieces that you'll need, because you'll want to cover both sides of the bird. Now they're already sized at about 4 inches long, but you can resize however you want to fit your needs. So now we are ready to make and cut out our birds in the Cricut Maker. So I'm gonna click on Make. When cutting out chipboard on the Cricut Maker, you want to make sure that you are using the knife blade in your machine. Then you'll need the strong grip mat, and I'm going to lay my chipboard there on the mat up in that left-hand corner, just like usual. But this time I want to secure it. Since this is a thicker material, we want to tape it to the mat just to make sure that it doesn't move. And I'm doing this just with some, this is actually wide washi tape, but painter's tape would work just as well. Now we are going to load the mat into the machine. We want to make sure that all of our star rings are pushed to the right. We're gonna put our knife blade inside and load our mat. Cutting out chipboard does take quite a bit of time. It takes several passes with the knife blade to cut all the way through that chipboard. So just be aware that if you are cutting out several birds, that you give yourself plenty of time to do so. Now that all of my chipboard pieces are cut out, I'm going to begin cutting out my scrapbook paper pieces that are going to cover the chipboard. So this time I'm going to use a standard grit mat. I've applied my 12 by 12 scrapbook sheet of paper. I want to change out the blade. We're going to be using our fine tip blade, no longer the knife blade. So we can put that away. I have changed the setting in Cricut Design Space to my scrapbook paper, and now I am ready to cut. This one's done, so we're going to remove this mat and put in our next mat. Now all of my pieces are cut out. I've got all my little chipboard pieces as well as the pattern paper that we are going to be putting on the chipboard. So I made a total of 19 chipboard bird bases. So now I'm going to create my piles of pattern paper. Now for each pattern or pile, I want 2 birds that are facing the opposite way because they're gonna go like that. And then I want 4 wings, so 2 facing each direction. So I'm just gonna start making some different patterns because I want all of my birds to be different. So those are my different piles of birds that I'm going to make. Now I'm gonna bring in my Mod Podge and my foam brush. I'm gonna pour some Mod Podge onto a plate. And then this is the glue that I'm going to use to stick the paper to my chipboard bases. I'm gonna also keep an awl handy so I can poke that hole through where our twine is gonna go. And then we can line up our bird piece with that hole as well. We're just gonna add just a little bit of glue, Mod Podge, whatever you wanna call it. We don't wanna add too much because then it will wrinkle. Lay our bird on there. Flip it over to the other side. Now that we have all of our pieces, we're gonna let those dry and do all of our birds. All of my chipboard birds have been covered with the pattern paper on both sides. So that means I am just ready to assemble my birds. I've got some twine close by and an awl. So I'm gonna poke that awl into the hole of the bird and just make sure it is nice and clear, so that my twine can pass through it. Okay, we're gonna tie that in a knot. Them off that little piece right there. I'm going to cut that off at about 10 inches. And then we're going to glue our feathers on. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue there on that base of the wing. And glue that into place. Then flip it over. And kind of want the wings to overlap a little bit there so you can see the wing from the other side. Put some glue on that side. Push that into place, and that's going to cover up that knot for our twine, and then it hangs like that. Isn't that so stinking cute? So now we're going to add the twine to all of our birds. My birds are all assembled, so I'm going to begin tying them here onto my garland. Now, like I said earlier, you can tie this onto anything, a wood stick, a dowel, ribbon, really whatever you want. I am tying it directly onto my green garland here, and I've already got it centered at the 20 mark, and that is where I want my first one to be tied. And I'm gonna let it dangle about 5 to 6 inches. So I'm gonna tie that on, trying to keep all the other greenery out of the way. Tie that on. Cut off that part. And then I am going to measure my birds out about every 4 inches. And so like this next one, I want it to be a little bit shorter. So that one was on 20. So that means we're gonna tie this one on at 16 here, according to my yardstick. And we're gonna tie it a little bit shorter. And I'm just gonna keep tying these on all the way down the length of my 6-foot garland here. Now I'm gonna come in with some of my ribbons, and I'm just gonna wrap my ribbon around my garland. I'm gonna keep it pretty loose. Let's start with this pink one. Then we have our light mint. And then our white and gray thin ribbon. And then once it is hung where I want it, I can rearrange those ribbons a little bit, pull out the greenery where I need to make it all hang exactly how I want to. But isn't this adorable? You guys, this is such great decor for spring, for a baby shower, wedding shower, wedding. There are so many fun things that you can do with these birds. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. While you're here, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming tutorials. And of course, you can always find me at my home base at thecraftyblogstalker.com. Thanks everybody. Bye and happy crafting.